Well, hello, fans. I'm here once again with Alan Hinton. Alan, we're only maybe an hour or so away from the big match, the Sounders against Colorado, coming up for the Western Conference Finals, the first leg. Your thoughts on the match?
Well, first of all, it's raining like crazy in Seattle, so that's normally good for the home team who are used to the rain. But I got to congratulate Colorado. I mean, I was looking at the stats from last year this morning, and Colorado finished stone last in the West in 2015, and now they're in the conference final, and they have a good team. I do think the stars are lined up. The positive attitude that Brian Smetzer's brought to the club, and it was, for me, it was positive before when Ziggy was here, but this club has a really good habit of winning games, and I think the stars are lined up for us. Brian Smetzer has done a marvellous job with him and his staff the last 16 days when they haven't had a game to get them well prepared for tonight. I've been to practice a few times. They look lively and happy and enthused. I will tell you this, I know there's an hour to go in the Montreal-Toronto game, which is on right now as we are filming, but Montreal is winning 2-0 right now, so what's got to happen is the Sounders have got to beat Colorado. The second game is on Sunday in Colorado. If Montreal knock out Toronto, then the final would be here in Seattle December 10, and I'll guarantee you that would be a 68,000 sellout. What a turnaround. And the local boy's doing his job. He's got a good staff. He's thanking the fans all the time. He's been respectful to his former coaches, and he's been respectful to Ziggy Smith. And it's a wonderful story, but it's also a great Canadian story that Toronto's playing Montreal in the Eastern Conference Finals. 60,000, I understand, in Montreal tonight, and sold out in Toronto when they play the replay. So it's a great time for Major League Soccer.
So one of the players that we won't be seeing for Colorado is the goalkeeper, the U.S. national, Tim Howard. Your thoughts? Is this an advantage? I think his replacement may not be bad either.
Well, he's not bad, but he also got let go by Philadelphia, and I always thought he was a pretty, his name is Zach McMath. I thought he was not a good goalie then, but he did start the season before Tim Howard arrived in June from Everton, and he did a good job, so maybe this is his opportunity to show that he can be a starter in Major League Soccer, but it's interesting times.
So you've attended a number of practices, Alan, prior to this matchup. Any Sounders that you're looking at to be in high form, or you think maybe will be the difference in the first leg?
Well, Ladero is clearly the star man. I mean, he's got everybody to jump onto his bandwagon, if you like, with his wonderful ability to, he's down the right, he's down the middle, he scores a goal, he makes an assist, he's everywhere. He touches the ball more than anybody on the field, he runs further than anybody on the field, and he's a quality player. I mean, he's just come back from Uruguay, where fortunately he didn't play that much for the Uruguayan national team, so he was able to rest. But Jody Morris, who had a hamstring injury, I think he's okay to go. I think the coach is going to be brave as well by playing Valdez, who is pretty hot right now, certainly in the playoffs. So I think the Sounders will play a very rigid 4-4-2 system, and I think Coach Smetzer and his staff, his physios, his trainers, his assistant coaches have handled all the stuff well, because it seems to me he has a full squad right now, which is marvelous.
Now, the news that came out yesterday as well as today. First of all, Jurgen Klinsmann, whom you've sort of gone back and forth on, you supported him. Last couple of months you said you didn't think he was cut out for the job. Second part of the question, Bruce Arena, and I have a follow-up after that one.
Well, as you know, on this Alan Hinton Unleashed, I've been for him, I've been against him. I was never 100% in his camp. Having said that, I did think he'd learned the lesson about how to play the proper defensive system. He failed miserably at Bayern Munich, which was always a big question mark for me. If you can't make it at Bayern Munich, you can't make it anywhere with all the talent they have. But I think he's a tinker. He goes in, he's like Ranieri, who used to have the reputation of being the tinker man. Klinsmann tinkers here and he tinkers there, and he's a good guy. guy, and he was a fantastic player. But now Bruce Arena's taken over. I think Bruce Arena will lift the spirits and get the locker room back, and then hopefully qualify for Russia 2018, and then I'd like to see him do this. There's some very bright young coaches in Major League Soccer. One of them's here, Brian Smetzer. Greg Vanny's done a great job at Toronto. Jesse Marsh has done a great job at the Red Bulls. The kid down in Poland won the championship last year. Then you got Pablo Mastroianni and a lot of good American coaches. Now, the way for the U.S. national team to go forward is to make sure they've got the best American players from Major League Soccer, and any one of these young coaches that will be even more better experienced in the next 2 years could take over and know the Major League Soccer like the back of the hand. I don't think Klinsmann knew the Major League Soccer players as much as he wanted, because he seemed anti them. And I think an American coach, particularly the follower after Arenas retired, with glory, having done a good job in the World Cup 2018, I think any number of American coaches would go in, and then we can get a better relationship with the USSR from Major League Soccer and go forward. But in the end, Americans have got to play power soccer, because they're not as talented as some of the Mexican players, some of the Argentinian players, some of the players that's playing in Europe. It's power soccer, 100% power, running, tackling, good goalkeeping, strong defense, and then you've got Pulisic, and you've got Woods, and you've got Morris, three wonderful forwards to try and build a team around in the future. But for me, then the question mark also, what's the future for Sunil Gulati? He put everything he had behind Jurgen Klinsmann. Is he in a position where they cannot second guess him? I don't know. But American soccer needs to get itself sorted out. They need to find the best players. They need to change and revamp the scouting system, which is a friend of a friend of a friend. And that's all got to stop. This is a big, big business, and the U.S. national team has failed right now. That's why Klinsmann lost his job.
Well, Alan, we'll look forward to your comments after the first leg of these playoffs. Get your prediction again, see what happens, maybe what will happen on Sunday, for another version of Alan Hinton Unleashed. Thank you, Alan.
Well, it's time for straight talking, that's for sure.
Thanks, Alan.